Well, a very big and beautiful good morning to you because it is a big and beautiful morning out here in South Florida on the East Coast. And my goodness, you are listening to the Fish Florida Show. I am your host, Riscala. Decided to play the full song this morning because it's just one of those mornings. Got up and my goodness, it's just one of those days where you go, oh, wow, this is why I live here in South Florida. My co-host with me this morning, the one and only Pam Worth. She is one of the top female kayak anglers, those of you who are not familiar with her. She's on the West Coast this morning. She can tell me a little bit about what's going on over there. Good morning, Miss Pam. I think I lost her. Let's try it one more time. Good morning, Miss Pam.
Can you hear me?
Oh,
I'm here.
There she is. She's hiding in the
There we
background.
go. Okay, sorry.
That's all right. That's
yeah,
okay.
the call dropped, so I had to call back in.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's beautiful over here, a little breezy. It's been breezy for the last couple of days, and I got a front coming in for the meteorologist. Says about 4 o'clock. So if you're going to do anything, do it in the morning.
You better do it and get it out of the way now because I looked at the radar, at the interactive radar for the state of Florida, and was conversing with Pam that there is a front or something coming through. This thing is so big, it stretches from New York out into the Gulf of Mexico, probably 50, 60, maybe even 80 miles south of Panama City. This is not going to miss us. There's no way that this is going to miss us. It's coming right over. So if you're going to do something, you got to do it in the early part of the day. And right now it is gorgeous. Is it nice and sunny where you're at?
No, it's overcast. It kind of looks like it's going to snow.
Oh, wow.
But it's warm.
Wow. Well, we've got absolutely warm here, but very sunny and very breezy the last couple of days. This morning, not quite as breezy, but I was really surprised at how windy it was yesterday. It made me think of Mike Simcoe, who we'll have on later today because Mike does kite fishing. And made me think of Mike Simcoe. I said, "My goodness, I wonder if you could, if the wind was correct, if it coming out of the correct direction, you could literally sit offshore and just set your kite to go wherever you want, and 400, 300, 200 yards offshore." So anyway, yeah, it kind of reminded me of that. You have some wind going on over there as well?
Yeah, we had our club. It's called a BAC Club, Bay Area Kayak and Canoe Club. We had our monthly outing, and it started off really nice, but by the end of the day, about noon, 1 o'clock, it was really blowing out there. We had a couple of our novice people come in early.
I can imagine because it's human-powered. The vessel that you're in is human-powered. Yours is pedal-powered, but some of them, they still have them with paddles too, right? They go out there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I can imagine if you're having... Go ahead.
I was going to say, my other kayak's a paddle kayak, so I have 2 of them.
Yeah. I can imagine after a while of being out there and, having to fight the wind or something, that gets tiresome.
It's frustrating because you're trying to cast, you're trying to stay in place, and the wind is just blowing you all over.
Oh, my. Well, I'll tell you what, if those of you who may have missed last week's show, I had something very exciting that was going on the West Coast right now, but I think they're going to move it over to the East Coast as well, and that is a CCA of Florida is letting loose all of these baby reds. Is it just red? No, I think they said snook too, right? I think she said snook.
They're restocking. They're throwing per area about 1,000 redfish, and then later on snook.
Yeah.
Coming out. So that's really great news. They've done it in a couple places in Hillsborough County, and now they've started down towards Sarasota.
Do you have any idea how long they've been doing that? Is it something new?
It used to be about 5 years ago. It was a program that happened all the time, but then they stopped. But Duke Energy still breeds redfish. So because of the red tide, CCA got together with Duke Energy, and they're releasing all these babies, and they're tiny. They're the size of a finger mullet. Mm-hmm. But in a couple years, they'll be 18 inches easy.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that's the kind of stuff I like to hear.
Yeah, they're also putting breeders out there. So not only are they restocking, but they're putting some breeders to help keep everything moving. And I got news. The redfish have been off the charts the last few weeks.
Great. What's that? You sent me a picture of one of them, right? Wasn't that a redfish?
Yeah. Yep, that was a redfish. That was a 28-inch redfish.
Yeah, I thought a nice catch. Came up on my phone, and I said, it looks like a red. I have a sometimes difficult time telling the difference between a redfish and a drum. Is it a drum I'm thinking of? I'm not sure.
Well, They're cousins. The
Mm-hmm.
black drum this is really called a red drum, and the other one's a black drum.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest, the speckled trout is a cousin too. It's really in the drum family.
Really?
Not in the trout family. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, I love
But
doing
the
this show.
black-
I'm always learning, and that's I had no idea.
Yeah, the black drum are heavier. They're built more like a sheep head. You know,
Mhm.
it's built more
And
like
they
that.
look a little more like a sheep head too, right?
Yeah, the babies look almost, or the juvenile black drum looks very, very similar to a sheep's head. Has stripes and everything.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I see Mr. Robert is on the line. Good morning, Robert.
Good morning.
How are you feeling, my friend?
Oh, much better than I was last week. So.
Yeah, poor guy was under the weather. The flu had finally
Oh.
caught up to him.
It's a good thing,
So-
too. I got to work on the magazine for the next 7 or 8 days straight. So good thing I'm feeling better.
Keeps him homebound.
What's your topics this month?
Well, we were shooting for inshore and reef fishing, and ended up with a little mix of everything because of some things that came up. I don't know if anybody's ever seen the Wild Blue, the show that goes on in Fort Lauderdale. They've added fishing to the show.
Oh, cool.
It was all the water sports before. Now they've added fishing to all the water sports, which I would have thought would have been a logical thing to do anyway. But we've been talking to them, and we're going to help them promote that. Looks like a great show, and it's going to be in it's April 27th and 28th at the Fort Lauderdale Convention Center. So,
What are they going
Nice.
What are they going to be doing? They're going to be filming the show there.
Pardon?
Are they going to be doing filming the show, or are they going to be putting on a show?
No, it's like ICAST. It's a huge, demonstration of everything. They
Oh
have
my goodness! Wow.
sailing, they have snorkeling, they have free divers, they've added fishing for some, and they've got kayaks, they've got everything. So
And where's it at?
the Fort Lauderdale Convention Center, April 27th and 28th.
Cool. Well, remind me about
Big
that.
show.
Yeah, remind me about that. I may get down there.
I
And
will.
Take a look around.
And if anybody's planning on going cobia fishing, this is your time. Boy, they're coming in on both coasts, so
Wow.
they are here. So,
Anything else going
Yeah.
on? With
I was
guy
going
out
to
of
say it's been insane.
Jupiter he had a boatload yesterday. He had 6 people on board. They all had one. So
Oh my goodness. Pam was trying to sneak. Go ahead, Pam. She's trying to sneak something.
No, I
in.
was going to say it's been insane. It's been one of the best cobia seasons I've seen in a long time. How about you, Robert? I haven't seen as many caught in a
absolutely.
long time.
they're coming in all the way from up here and actually further north than this, all the way down to the Keys. So
Wow.
they are everywhere.
I'll have Angela on later today. Angela, they call her the Florida Salty Cowgirl. I think that's what they call her. I hope that's what they call her. She's down in the Keys, so we'll find out, what's happening down there in the Keys.
Oh, Angelia, yeah.
We'll find out from her as well. Any tournaments that are going on right now?
No, we had the kids tournament. Obviously, we did that one.
Yep. How did
Um,
that turn out?
and Summer Warren will be publishing a list in our magazine this month of all the tournaments, so we won't have to keep guessing as to where they are and
Oh,
what's going
cool.
on. She's getting me a list together of all of them. So
And Peter Camerano of JCam Lures was kind enough to send me a list as well. So if you are on Facebook, you can go to our Facebook page and scroll down the page, and you'll see there's a list that was provided by Peter. Greatly appreciate that. Anyway, how did the
I'll probably go on there and make a copy of that one too for the magazine. So
cool? How did the kids tournament turn out?
it was great. It was one of those things where I think there had to have been 60 or 70 kids out there, and
wow.
they all had a great time. They all got to eat lunch. They all got to catch fish.
Great.
Bimini Bay and Tsunami were great enough to send us some great gifts to give to the kids and to the winners.
I
And
love it.
it's just a great day. Anytime you can get a bunch of kids and their family and their parents outside together, it's just a great day.
That's
So
the kind of stuff I like, man. I'll tell you what. That's great. So was there a first
Yeah.
prize or a second prize or anything like that, or was it just...
well, no, there was like 6 or 7 top prizes, depending on what category you were in, so and how old you were. So.
And what were the ranges, the age ranges?
Oh God, 4 to
Oh
12.
my! Oh my! Really young.
Yep.
Wow. Well, that's great. That's the kind of stuff that I like to hear about. And getting away from, we're saturated with technology all around us all day long. Get away from it for a little while. Enjoy what God has given us. There's a beautiful place out there. And today it's going to be gorgeous for a little while. So if you're going to do it, you got to do it early.
Yeah, do it before Wednesday. From what I understand, Wednesday we got some bad weather coming. So,
well, Pam says it's going to be before Wednesday for us. It looks like it's going to be later this afternoon. And I looked at the.
well, it's going to rain a little bit. We got a cold front coming in
Right.
Wednesday or Thursday, I guess it is, and we got a 90% chance of rain on Wednesday. So I'm pretty sure that that's not going to be a good day to be out. So.
You have to be politically correct, Robert. It's liquid sunshine.
Oh, that's right. We're in Florida. I forget.
You don't want to chase the tourists.
Which is a good thing because it's still snowing everywhere else.
Oh
So.
my goodness! I know. Oh Lord, I have a friend that's up in Wisconsin.
I feel bad for those people. I've got a good friend up in Michigan, Bob Burrows, who is he sends me pictures of his driveway every now and then, and it's like 4 feet of snow. So.
I can't imagine. I can't imagine. And it's, one weekend I spent up in Minnesota, was there for training for Minnesota Mining, and it snowed 3 or 4 inches. I don't recall, but it was a very small amount with regard to the number, and cars became little bumps on the road. So you can imagine 4 feet, everything disappears. You don't know where anything's at anymore. Oh my goodness! Wow. Well, we had,
and they're going through it.
Go ahead.
I said it snowed all the way into Arizona. It snowed everywhere this year. So
that was crazy, all the way down to Las Vegas. It was snowing in Las Vegas. Oh my goodness. Well, Miss Pam, you're too quiet back there. What's going on?
No, I'm just listening.
He's
I'm
plotting.
just listening. Snow is not a topic I like. I mean, I like to look at it. It's really pretty in Christmas cards. My daughter's in Chicago, so she's dealing with it, and better her than me.
This doesn't belong in my driveway, that's for sure.
That's not going to happen.
Yeah, I'll take a rainy day over a snowy day anytime.
That is why.
Oh, that's a
here.
fact.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
I'm
there's some great fishing going on out there. Redfish are coming in both coasts. Like I said, the cobia bite's just ridiculous this year. There's still some sales being caught depending on where you are. It's a great time to be out fishing. If you've got the time to get out, get out. And if you don't have the time, make the time. So
exactly.
I like that.
The redfish bite over here has been tremendous lately. Good size. I've seen a lot of juveniles, but I've also seen nice fish over slot all over the place. So that's really good to see on the West Coast.
Yeah, particularly.
Yeah, it
what
is,
happened.
and I understand they're dropping a bunch of 150,000 fish or something like that over there. To try to make up for what the red tide killed.
Yeah, I think it's closer to 10,000, but all along the coastline, from Pasco all the way down to Naples.
Yeah.
So they're watching the water carefully. Yeah, and as soon as they feel it's clear enough, they're dropping fish. So that's been pretty exciting.
Well, FWC sent out a notice yesterday there was no red tide anywhere in the state of Florida. So
the other notice they sent out as of last Friday, no trout can be kept over 20 inches from basically Pasco all the way down to Fort Myers. It used to be, the rules used to be 4 trout with 1 over 20. Now I'm talking on the West Coast. Now you can't keep any fish over 20 inches, any trout over 20 inches. Until at least May 10th.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, those are all breeder size, and they're not tasty anyway. Tasty.
They get mushy.
Yeah. So if any of the listeners are out there and they missed it, I posted it on my Instagram. Out of everybody that follows me, I only had one person go, "What?" This is a person who keeps everything, so whatever.
There are. But I'm one of them. I don't like to throw it back. If I catch it, I want to eat it. That's just the way I am. If I'm going to go through the trouble of catching it and fishing for it and doing all that, I want to. If it's edible, I want to keep it. I want to eat it. I wanted to ask Robert, Florida Fisherman Magazine. Coming out on the
Yes.
20th, I think, right?
Coming out on the 28th. Next issue will be out the 28th.
28th, okay. And people want to view this. How are they going to do that?
They find it at flfishmag.com, or they can normally just go to our Facebook page, and there's one posted there. You can just click on it, and it'll open the magazine.
So it'll be out in just a couple of days. I will eventually get something together for you that you can put in there for me, like an autobiography about the one and only little old me.
There you go.
We'll get you.
We're ready whenever you are.
We'll get you some info.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, with tournaments, I didn't get an article for you this month, but
I know,
give me a
but
heads
I
up
know
and
how
I'll get
busy
it.
you are, too.
She's been
I'll get
fishing.
it together for next month, I promise.
She's been out there fishing, pre-fishing and fishing. And
I know how busy she is.
she
so,
sent me a
yep.
picture of a really nice little fish that she caught. It kind of put
I
me to
saw
shame.
some huge black drum that she caught. So
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, you like that? That was pretty awesome.
yeah,
And where did that happen at?
I was like 2 weeks ago over in Titusville.
Oh,
I was
wow.
like, that was about a 30, 40-pound black drum. He was over 40 inches.
Wow.
Yep.
Nice.
big one.
Yeah,
Nice.
that was nice. So my little Cajun rods and my Daiwa reels, they did really well. Really well. The guide I was with, he stripped one of his reels. I'm not going to mention the brand, but he stripped it trying to pull one in. Here's my little Cajun, bringing him in.
Wow.
Yep.
When you were
It's funny.
Yeah.
The difference in rods is phenomenal. We were out yellowtail fishing. It's got to be 3 or 4 years ago. With my buddy Jorge had 8-pound test on a reel, and we happened to see a red grouper because the water was so clear right underneath the boat. So I hooked on a pilchard or whatever we had netted that morning and just dropped it down on a weight, and it took it. And I'm like, oh shit! Now what am I going to do? So I've got this red grouper on 8-pound test, and the rod just literally bent in half, and got him. We got him, but
Wow.
All right.
but I have never seen it. It was an ugly stick rod, and when they show those commercials of the rod bent in half,
Yeah.
we did that, and they do that, and they don't break.
Wow.
So
Like I
yes,
said-
the rods make all the difference in the world. I was amazed that this rod could hold up to what it held up to. So
Was it graphite?
Yeah.
I guess it's graphite. Probably graphite. Yeah, you think it's made
I
out
would,
of graphite?
I would think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. All right, we're coming up on a break. If you want to find Robert, you can find him at, give me the website again, Robert.
flfishmag.com.
I was going to say, I just want to know if you knew that. I was going to say that, but I just want to know if you knew.
It was a test, wasn't it? I knew the answer. Do I win?
Bingo. Well, I'm glad you're feeling better. That's some nasty stuff that was going around there. And I'm glad
Yeah,
you're
it has
over it
been.
and you're feeling better. And I greatly appreciate you taking the time. It's every week you are so kind. Like Pam, you take your time, call in, give us a report about what's going on, tell us a little bit about any tournaments that are happening, that kind of thing, and updating us. So I'm always grateful for that. Always interesting and forever grateful. Thank you, Robert. Greatly appreciate it.
You guys have a great day.
Thank you, my friend. We'll be right back.
Being a dad is an adventure full of special moments.
A cruise?
Surprise!
Unexpected moments.
I got this.
And even awkward moments.
Okay, Dad, thank you.
But every moment you spend with your kids, even the smallest moments, can make the biggest impact on your child's life. So take a moment to be a dad today.
There's a lot of fear in coming back to school. I wasn't sure if I could do it. I'm a 40-year-old man that walked in there to get his high school diploma. It was very hard for me, but the teachers, the counselors, they help you. One of the teachers was Miss Araceli. Miss Araceli, she gave me direction. Every single time I had a question, she'll put down whatever she's doing and she'll come over and she'll sit there with you until you get it. Thank you, Miss Araceli. I know you make a difference in people's lives because of the person and teacher you are. I wanted to be here because I wanted to thank you for helping me get a beautiful gift. 50% of getting your high school diploma is walking through those doors. The other 50% is doing the work. Getting your high school diploma, it is a life-changing experience. It really is.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Have you ever heard of Audible? Audible is a website with hundreds of thousands of audiobooks. They're all high quality, easy to listen to, and, best of all, if you take advantage of a special deal that we've worked out for you, you can get one for free. That's right, a free audiobook of your choice in any genre, simply by going to audibletrial.com/openeyes and signing up for the free trial. It's simple to do, and it would support the shows that we bring to you, and hey, you get a free book out of the whole thing. So why not take advantage of it today? Go to audibletrial.com/openeyes and sign up for the trial.
Ask 10 different scientists about the environment, population control, genetics, and you'll get 10 different answers. But there's one thing every scientist on the planet agrees on. Whether it happens in 100 years, or 1,000 years, or 1,000,000 years, eventually our sun will grow cold and go out. When that happens, it won't just take us. It'll take Marilyn Monroe, and Lao Tzu, and Einstein, and Morobuto, and Buddy Holly, and Aristophanes. All of this was for nothing. Unless we go to the stars.
Do you need toner for your Epson, Hewlett-Packard, Canon, Brother, Apple, or Sharp printers? Look no further than Laser Technologies. In business for over 20 years, they offer the lowest prices on toner on the web. They can also repair your laser printers and toners fast and easy. Call their expert staff today at 561-792-9600 or email us at service@laser-technologies.com for all your toner needs. All toner is shipped nationwide. Why wait? Get the lowest prices on toner. Call or email us today.
While other stations just talk a good game, we win it.
Hey, sounds like somebody's having a lot of fun.
Oh, I grab my fishing pole and cast it in the water. I fish until dawn. Oh my, I caught a shark. I'm fishing and blowing on when the sun shines all day.
It's the Fish Florida Show with your host, Riscala Stevens, bringing the outdoors to you every Sunday morning, 8 to 10 a.m. And now your host, Riscala Stevens.
Okay, we are back. It is the Fish Florida Show. Thank you to each one of you who take the time to tune in and allowing us to share with you. I love doing this show. This is one of my favorite times of the week. Constantly learn. I learned this morning that trout were part of the drum family. I had no idea. But again, it's a learning experience for me. I don't pretend to be the pro. I just want to be the guy who brings you something that is interesting, hopefully something you can use when you go out there and go fishing, and something entertaining. And sometimes it's serious. I mean, we did the show about the water, how the water was, being destroyed, basically. But sometimes quite entertaining, and hopefully most of the time quite entertaining, and always informative. And part of the reason of that is for people like Pam, who has the generosity to call in and share with us information. Pam brings a unique perspective to the table, if you will. She's literally on the water's edge. She's in a kayak, inches off the water, and she sees fishing from a different perspective than you and I if we were in a boat or something like that. And she's got some tremendous catches. There's a picture of her on our Facebook page. If you go to Facebook and look up Fish Florida Show, you'll find a picture of her holding a sailfish with a great big grin on her face. And the fish that she's holding is pretty close to the size of the boat that she's in. So good morning, Pam, and thank you for taking the time to call in. Give me a second.
Starting my Sundays off with you is great.
Yeah. I had to make a quick adjustment. And I have a caller from area code 216. I'm not sure if this is my next guest or if it's a caller. Let me get to the caller real quick. Area code 216, you are on the Fish Florida Show. Good morning.
Riscala, brother, it's Skills, man.
Oh, hey, how are you, sir?
Went well in your show last night.
Oh, thank you.
Good heavens. I have I have fishing stories, man. It goes back to the early '90s, man. Back in the day, my first boat was a 10-foot John boat with a 36-pound thrust motor. All right, and between my buddy and myself, we'd take that out on the inland lakes, and the water line was about an inch below walking into the boat, man. It was pretty risque, you might say, And we'd be bass fishing inland lakes. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. This is where? Where was this happening at? Bass fishing where?
Well, we were up in Ohio.
Oh,
the
okay.
inland lakes around Cleveland. All right. And then, I graduated from that 10-foot John boat to a 1977 Starcraft aluminum open bow with a 65 Merc. All right, outboard. And when the lake was nice, when Lake Erie was nice, and Lake Erie, I don't know if anybody's aware of this, out of the 5 Great Lakes, Lake Erie is the shallowest, averaging 50 foot. And that kicks up quick. You don't want to get caught up out there, man. When those winds kick up, or you're dead like a dinner. That's game over. But anyways, man, when that lake was like glass, at 65 Merc, it get me up to about 42 miles an hour on that lake, man. And it was some awesome fishing. But what's interesting is I look at the fishing market in regards to what things go for. Now, up in Maine, where Papa is at, if you're on the docks or by the docks, you could purchase lobster for $4 a pound. However, you go a little bit inland, it's $8 a pound. Up here in Ohio, you're going to pay like $18 a pound for lobster. Now, what's really interesting, our main fish that comes out of the Great Lakes, the best eating fish are yellow perch. And I priced them yesterday. I was out with my son and daughter. We were shopping. Lake Erie perch, yellow perch, sells for $15 a pound.
Wow.
And I'm talking, it's 4 miles down the road. $15 a pound.
I haven't bought fish and I haven't paid for fish in so long. I didn't realize it was so expensive. Wow.
Well, let me ask you. Now, when you go fishing, do you fish offshore, off a dock? What do you do?
But all of the above. It depends on. It depends on what we're. Sometimes we're just lazy. There's been fishing trips that we go down. One of my favorite things to go down the Keys, and we'll fish off some of the bridges down there, or right off literally off the shore under the bridge. That's just one of my favorite spots. But and then other times we'll take a boat. I have a friend of mine who has a 24-foot Triton, I think is what it is. And we'll go offshore and we'll go, I call it pulling plastic. We'll go pull plastic, or we'll pull some skirts with the ballyhoo or something like that, looking for whatever's out there at the time. So I do a little bit of both. Sometimes believe it or not, I enjoy being if it's quiet, I enjoy being on the shoreline, just fishing off the shoreline during the brief period of a lull tide where it's just getting ready to change. It only lasts about 15 or 20 minutes. But that is, to me, that's very peaceful. That you watch the ocean literally come to a stop for a brief period of time, and then it starts moving the other way. So anyway, it's funny. Thank you for calling in. I appreciate that. You're the last person in the world I was expecting to hear from.
Well, I was going to tell you one more story if you're game for it.
Go ahead. Yeah.
You ready?
Yep.
1976. I was 12 years old, and we were up in Hawaii with my parents. And Dad says, "Man, I want to go fishing, man. We'll grab a charter." So there were 3 of us on there, my father, myself, and some random guy. And you had to draw cards, and you grab the seat for 2 hours. It was obviously a little over 6 hours long. And you had to draw cards to see who had the seat first for the first 2 hours, second guy, and so forth, right? Well, I had the seat round 2, and I'm 12 years old, 80-pound test, man. That's what marlin fish. We're fishing for marlin. All right, 80-pound test, and all of a sudden I hooked one, and the guy's saying, "Man, just keep it taut, reel it." And one of the other guys got on top of the boat. He had a rifle with a scope on it. He was waiting for him to jump out of the water to knock him out, so it could be reeled in a little bit quicker, And I had seen it jump out a couple times. I just couldn't keep up with it. What this marlin had done was swam straight for the boat as fast as he could. I don't know how sharp these fish are, right? Because he told me, he says, "You have to take that slack up." And he went straight for the boat. I couldn't keep up with the slack, and then he doubled back. and he snapped that 80-pound test line. So
Wow.
he went away. He had a huge $5 lure in his mouth at the time. But that was quite the experience, man, because you're strapped into that seat, man. You know?
I have seen videos where not just marlin or sailfish, barracuda, down in the Keys, we've had a couple of instances where barracuda, that somebody will hook one of these big ones, and it comes charging at the boat, and one person actually died. This thing came out of the water like a torpedo and happened to hit him in the neck and got him right in the right spot in the neck. And this lady passed away. They couldn't get her back to the hospital quick enough. Anyway, thanks for taking the time to call in. I greatly appreciate it. I've got to get on to the next guest. I wish you well, my friend.
All right, Raskill.
Don't freeze
Take
up
care,
there.
brother.
Thank you.
Okay, man.
Bye-bye.
Yep.
That's one of my listeners from the other show that I do. I don't know how many of you know. I do another show. I do a political show on Saturday nights, and it's one of the listeners. He's part of the network on that show as well. Anyway, I got 954. I hope this is Mike. Mike, is that you at 954? Are you there, Mike? Or area code 954. Let's try it that way. Hello, 954. Going once. Oh, they went. I guess they got, they must have gotten disconnected. All right, Miss Pam, you still with me?
Yes, I am.
All
Yes,
right,
I am.
awful.
I had nothing for Lake Erie, except all I can think of is that song where the boat went down.
Oh, yes. There was I got tired of hearing that. That was such a long song. I remember that song, something about the Fitzgerald or M something
Yeah.
Fitzgerald. Yeah, I remember that.
That's what started when he started to say that. That's the music that started playing through my head, and I went, "Oh, this is not good."
Well, I constantly learn. I didn't know that it was only 50 feet, an average of 50 feet deep. I thought it was really, really
I think
deep.
that's deep.
Well, that is deep, but I mean,
I fished-
compared to some of the other ones, they're hundreds of feet deep.
Yeah. Well, I fished the flats, and that average is 6 feet.
That average is what, 6 feet?
Yeah. No. Tampa Bay's got some deep trenches in it, but nothing like that. I think the deepest is maybe 40 feet to let the big tankers go through. They stay in the channels.
Mm-hmm. I was shocked because I was ignorant. I really didn't know any better. Out here in Biscayne Bay, where I grew up down in Miami, Biscayne Bay, there's places where it's literally inches deep if you're not careful, and it looks like it's deep. I mean, the water up here has the appearance of deep water, but it's not. It's mud. And I had the pleasure of getting caught up in it. Stepped out of the boat to be able to push the boat, and I sunk. I am not kidding. I'm not exaggerating. Sunk probably 2 feet into this muck, into this muddy stuff. And then when I went to lift myself out of it, it was so, how do I describe it? So tight around my leg that it literally sucked the shoe off of my foot as I came back out of it.
Yeah, it's like quicksand.
And there's no way I was going to go back look for my shoe. It's 3 or 4 feet underwater. Oh my gosh, yeah. I don't know what it is that's out there, but it is like it's like a soft silt, and you get caught up in it. That one day that I wasn't watching when I was going, and was in Biscayne Bay, returning back to the dock, and we got blown over just a little too far, and before I knew it, I was surrounded. I had allowed myself to get into this. And it's quite disturbing because if you're a boat like I was in, 24-foot boat, fortunately we had a hydraulic lift so we could get the motor up. But when the boat itself begins to bottom out, you know you're in trouble.
Yep. No. Last weekend when I was over in Jacksonville, one of the boat launches that I launched at, if you're over even a half a foot, you sink into mud that'll go down to your knee. I know because I did it. I was trying to get out of the way of somebody, and I stepped over. I was in ankle deep water. Stepped over. Next thing I know, I'm in mud to my knee on that one leg.
And that's dangerous.
The guy looked at me and I went, "Oh, don't step here."
I remember when that happened to me out there in the bay. Had I not been able to hook up to my boat to pull myself up on the boat, I don't know if I'd have been able to. You try to lift one foot and it just sucks you back down again.
Yeah.
It is. It's crazy. That is creepy. Well, Mike Lindell was going to call in, and I don't know what happened. That may have been him, and he may have been gotten disconnected. But Mike is with the King of the Glades tournament, and he was going to tell us a little bit about what's going on. I don't know what happened. Sometimes because our guests are fisher people. He may be out on the water somewhere and having an issue trying to call in. He is in an area code 954, and 954 came up, and then they got disconnected. So that may be what happened. But we may hear from Mike before we go into the next.
I know we're in the heart of the bass tournaments. They just had a couple off Lake Kissimmee, and they also had some off Toho. Jordan Lee won that one. He's also on Natives Pro staff, so he's going to be fishing. I have to fish against him in Gunnersville in Alabama in October. Are you ready for that? I got it. Got an invitation from Native to fish it. And I mean, here I am, right? He's technically the top bass angler in the United States.
Wow.
And I looked at him and I go, guys, I only drink fresh water. I said, really, are you inviting me up there for comic relief?
Now, what's going to happen? I can tell what's going to happen. You're going to put them to shame.
No, are you kidding? I'm going to go up there and have a good time, meet people, and just, pray that I catch at least one bass. I would be so embarrassed not to catch anything, but that's happened before.
Not with Pam. No way.
So anyhow, I've been asking different friends throughout Tampa or Florida to take me out bass fishing to try different areas and different techniques. So they've been really nice.
You know who you could
Sewell
talk
did
to,
that last week for me.
Talk to Captain Clyde. Captain Clyde Folse, the crappie psychic.
The crappie? Yeah.
The crappie
Louisiana's a little different, though. Louisiana fish are crazy. I want to tell you, I've never been in an area where it was so easy to catch a fish in my life.
Really?
Is Louisiana. Oh, my goodness. We were catching redfish right at the boat. I mean, they were following topwaters. They were following everything right to the boat. That just doesn't happen in Tampa Bay. They get anywhere near, the boat, or they see people or structure or movement, and those fish are gone.
Wow. I wonder why it's so different there. That's crazy.
I think we're much more heavily fished, this area. So they see a lot more boats. Yeah. There's a lot more pressure. Redfish in this area have almost become mullet-like. You know what I mean by mullet-like? Nothing spooks faster than a mullet.
Oh, you aren't kidding. You aren't kidding. Okay, let me see who this is. Area code 954. You're back on. Your first name? I guess they don't want to talk. They're going to listen. All right, you can listen. That's fine. Area code 954. You're on the show.
Hey, Riscala, it's Carolyn with Atlas Tracks. I had to call in time at 7:45.
Oh, you're a little early. Okay. All right. That's
sorry
no problem.
about that. Well, I'll dial you guys back in.
You can hang on, sweetheart. That's fine. You can hang on there.
All right.
Yeah. And we're going to take a quick break. It is just about break time anyway, so you're calling in just a little early, but that's okay. At least I know who it is. That's Carolyn, and she's with Atlas Tracks, and we're going to talk a little bit about what Carolyn has here in just a minute. Let me go ahead and go to a break and get that out of the way. You are listening to the, excuse me, you're listening to a man with a bad voice this morning. My goodness. What's happened is I was sharing with Pam earlier. I partied a little too hard last night. I had a cookie before I went to bed, and I know you guys are laughing at me, but I had a sweet tooth, and I had a cookie before I went to bed, and I woke up with heartburn. And normally, what I do on Sunday mornings is the only morning that I drink coffee. Well, I'm not drinking coffee this morning. The result is I'm still kind of groggy from last night, and that usually clears my throat up, but that's not working this morning. So anyway, let me go ahead and do this, and don't go away. It is Fish Florida Show. We'll be gone for just a moment.
You're listening to the Fish Florida Show with your host, Riscala. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Do you need toner for your Epson, Hewlett-Packard, Canon, Brother, Apple, or Sharp printers? Look no further than Laser Technologies. In business for over 20 years, they offer the lowest prices on toner on the web. They can also repair your laser printers and toners fast and easy. Call their expert staff today at 561-792-9600 or email us at service@laser-technologies.com for all your toner needs. All toner is shipped nationwide. Why wait? Get the lowest prices on toner. Call or email us today.
Grace has some pretty stellar arms, like Serena Williams good, but her face is pretty disgusting.
Someone please tell him to go back into his closet and leave us alone.
Britney's face is so stupid and I hate her so much. It's like a scientist created her in a lab to annoy humanity and didn't even do that good of a job.
Megan reminds me of a troll doll that came to life intent on killing us with her stupidity.
Why is Grace's head so big? It definitely has nothing to do with how smart she is and probably everything to do with how bloated she is.
He's so funny. Just kidding. Who would find this disfigured flamingo funny?
Never post a selfie of yourself. You look so ugly.
The only reason you have so many views is because we think you're a freak and we can't look away.
Megan is the main reason that the world sucks so much.
I would rather get cancer than listen to another Trevor Moran song.
You are a mistake. You should have never been born.
Drown yourself in a shallow puddle, please.
Wow, I hope she's sterile.
These really stopped being funny a long time ago.
You're so much more than the things that people say about you.
Those people have no right to say cruel things to you to make themselves feel better.
It's okay that you sound different than everyone else.
That's what makes you so special.
We will not tolerate it.
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 Every day, people make me feel like I stand out simply because of the way that I look.
Every day, people make me feel small.
Every day, I face the cruel words of bullying.
And every day, people tell me that I'm brave for enduring this humiliation.
But we're not the brave ones.
It's the ones that say no to the bullying.
The witnesses.
If we all join together, there's nothing that we can't do. We will no longer be the silent majority.
When we see bullying online,
We will let the world know that we're going to take action with the I.
Now, when you see online bullying, there's something you can do about it.
Our actions will overpower cruel words.
I am a witness.
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 There is power in words.
But it's nothing compared to the power of the actions that we put behind our words.
Visit eyewitnessbullying.org to learn more.
I am a witness, and so are you.
I'm gonna stand by you.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
We have ignition. Strap in. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I grab my fishing pole and cast it in the water. I fish until dawn. Oh my, I caught a shark. I'm fishing and blowing on. When the sun shines all day. They call me a grouper. So fishing and blowing on. Oh yeah.
It's the Fish Florida Show with your host, Riscala Stevens, bringing the outdoors to you every Sunday morning, 8 to 10 a.m. And now your host, Riscala Stevens.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, welcome to the Fish Florida Show. It is an honor and privilege to be with you. And this morning I have with me one of the top female kayak anglers, and always bringing something interesting and unique to the table, Pam Worth. Good morning, Miss Pam, and thank you for joining in this morning.
Good morning. Whoa. Good morning. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
She's still downing the coffee. I was going to say drowning in coffee, but downing the coffee. And my next guest is Carolyn. Carolyn is with AtlasTracks.com, and one of the things I enjoy about having Carolyn on, some years ago, I was going to buy a brand new car, and my logic was, I don't want to spend the money on a brand new car because as soon as you drive it off the lot, it depreciates. So I'd like to get a used car, but if I get a used car, I want to make sure I get a car that somebody's taken care of. So I happened to run into, of all things, a Cadillac at the time, and it was a very, very, very nice shape. Happened to belong to a colonel at Homestead Air Base. I happened to be living in Miami at the time. Went down to visit him, and the price that he was asking was very fair. So I ended up buying it. The short of the story is, as much as I enjoyed that car, there were people out there that enjoyed that car more than me. I had the car stolen 3 times in 1 year, 3 times. I didn't have something like Atlas Tracks, and it was quite frustrating. And The sinking feeling when you walk out to where you parked your vehicle and it's gone, and you know it didn't get towed away, it got stolen. 2 times it was stolen out of my driveway at my home. 2 times out of my driveway. 1 time out of the parking lot at the mall. This was many years ago. We didn't have something like we have today with Atlas Tracks, where okay, they may be able to get away with whatever it is that you have, but they can't get away. You can find them. You can, anywhere on the planet, you can find them within 10 feet of where they are. That to me is karma. And I greatly appreciate people like you, Carolyn, who allow us that option to be able to track these people down and get back what we work so hard to get.
Right, and I appreciate you having me on the show again today, because it's so important, especially with everyone getting ready for boating season, Florida and everywhere. It's so important because we hear all the time, my boat was stolen and it was never recovered, or my boat was stolen and I got it back totally trashed. I don't even want it anymore.
Yeah.
And, you just, exactly with your car, when you get it back, you're like, I don't want to have this thing back.
Heartbreaking.
So why not catch them, it's immediately, or have a customer who has a tracker be able to know that their boat or their car, their ATV is moving with those 10-minute notices that they would get by email or by text, and catch them when they're still close to the home.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it's all about, is getting your asset back as fast as possible.
The faster,
so that's,
I was going to say, the faster you get it back, the greater the odds that you get it back in good shape. The longer that it takes to get it, the greater the odds that you're going to get it back beat up.
Right, and specifically, there was a boat that was stolen a couple months ago. A big boat, 39-footer with 4 engines, was taken out of a building. Wow. And as soon as it came out of the building, the video cameras caught like 12 guys jumping on the boat and start disassembling it, and it was on a trailer. So imagine, how streamlined these operations are that are they are stealing whatever, boats, airboats. It could be vehicles. You hear it all the time.
Yeah. And without an option such as this, and this is only one area that Atlas Tracks can fit into with regard to vehicles. I also like the fact that you have one that's, again, I think it's about the size of a credit card, maybe not as thin, but about the size of a outside diameter, dimensions of a credit card. If you're going out somewhere and you are going to be, offshore, you put one of these things in your pocket. God forbid something goes wrong. You have, when we get in our cars, I hope most of us are wearing seatbelts. Why? We're not planning on getting in an accident, but we want to do what we can to protect ourselves. God forbid if it happens. The same thing with Atlas Tracks. You can slip this thing in your pocket. God forbid something goes wrong. You have that added insurance that somebody's going to be able to track you down pretty doggone quick if you have this thing on you. Again, it's 10 feet, right? Within 10 feet?
Right. Oh, absolutely. It sends messages every 10 minutes or whatever the programming that the customer wants. Typically, boats is every 10 minutes. And then when it stops for 5 minutes, then it shows what the last location is. But the locations are so good that you can follow it en route every 10 minutes. And I'll tell you, they're so easy to install. Here's a funny story. I have a customer with a 42-foot Freeman high on a boat lift yesterday out of town. He's like, look, I need a tracker right away. We're going out today, being Sunday this morning. I couldn't get on the boat, so all I did was wrap it up in some foam, throw it up over into the boat, and I see they were already offshore this morning out fishing, but they needed that tracker by this morning, and I literally just threw it up on the boat. And my husband's like, well, I hope you didn't throw it over the boat into the intercoastal. I'm like, well, we'll find out tomorrow where it is. So that's how easy they are to install. I literally ran up to the boat and threw it inside.
Wow. And, this is another reason I help support small businesses, because this is the kind of service that you can get with a small locally owned business. You are part of their family, basically. They know, they understand, they recognize the importance of you as a customer, and they understand and recognize how vital it is for you to have the product. And they go out of their way, to make a delivery. Try calling Comcast and going, hey, listen, and by the way, I need, and it's Saturday, I need a modem. Good luck. you know.
You're right. I mean, when it comes to boat theft and safety, I mean, it's so important to our family and to Atlas Tracks, because there's so many stories that you hear of people that are going or there's another story of older couple that was just doing a quick run from Bimini back here in a 21-footer, friends of mine, and we didn't think to give them a tracker. Well, they got disoriented with the clouds and the waves, and they ended up going round and round off Miami, and the cutter had to go out. Coast Guard cutter had to go out. They were fine, but they just were totally disoriented from, not having land in sight and having no navigational equipment. And, they've done it a million times.
Wow.
But that one time is,
All it takes is that one.
when you might need a little help.
All it takes is that one. And I can tell you some hairy stories that we've shared when we got offshore, 22 miles offshore, one day with the compass began to spin. And another story was we found ourselves back without. This is many years ago. Another story. We were in the bay, and a thunderhead came over us very quickly, and within a span, literally of 5 minutes, it was coming down like it was the end of the world. That's how it happens here in Florida. We were fortunate in the sense that we were already anchored up because we were going to go swimming, but this thing came up on us so quick. We became so disoriented, I couldn't tell you which way the land was, and we were in the bay. So I couldn't imagine being out on the ocean and becoming disoriented. Oh, my gosh. And having something like this is like, this is the ultimate in insurance, in seeing to it that God forbid something happens. People know where you are. People can find you. And it's not, I'll get back to you. It's immediate. You get on your computer. I think you can do it on your phone as well, right? You can do it on
Sure,
your phone?
absolutely. Yep, yeah. The tracker will send individual messages of locations, but you can also log on to your phone, your computer to see the full route. So with little yellow breadcrumbs. So let's say they started in Bimini and they started drifting. It'll connect the dots every time a satellite message is sent. So you can see kind of where the proposed route is, where did they come from, what the latitudes and longitudes were anywhere on our maps. You could click on measure buttons that'll tell you how far they are from a particular port or a particular area, which is really helpful. And you mentioned weather. We have people that go out and their parents will watch them from the shore. They'll see a storm come through, like you mentioned. They'll be able to figure out, okay, the storm is 10 miles off of Fort Lauderdale. The boat is 3 miles off of Fort Lauderdale. They're already through the weather with all of the click and point options on our maps to be able to figure out distances. So a lot of people have peace of mind, especially when you have these summer storms that rip through, or these crossings that get a little hairy from the Bahamas and back, and even out on the Gulf Coast of Florida, and again worldwide. We track worldwide, so we've got people going through the Panama canals, boats in Cabo, marlin fishing you were talking about earlier. And they use them there to just manage their fleet. What boats went out? How many hours were they out? Are the customers coming back in so we can send the next charter out? So much information that can be used.
Wow. That is amazing. Miss Pam, you're too quiet. What's going on back there?
No, I'm just intrigued by the whole situation. I apologize for not getting back in touch with you, but I'm thinking how cool it would be to show. I'm headed down to Panama the end of April to do some kayak fishing there, and that might be kind of cool to, show the route and the whole bit. That might be a lot of fun.
Sure, definitely reach out to me, and we could make some screenshots for you to share on your social media. Come find Pam. Where is she? What's she doing? Just really cool things like that. And we've got a couple tournaments, a lot of tournament boats, and the Jimmy Johnson tournament coming up in a couple weeks down in Ocean Reef. Yep. I'll do screenshots for all the boats in there, and there'll probably be 10 boats that just unknowingly to each other have trackers that can now go hang out with each other and find us on slip number 4, dock number 5. So. That's kind of cool. Yeah, you can see the progression of the day during the tournament and where they are on some screenshots. So that's kind of fun. But there's alarm systems too. You have the tracker. We do alarm systems that have 60-foot cable wraps that you can wrap around. Like say your Cadillac in the driveway to a tree. And if someone tries to take it, it sets off really loud sirens, and that's great for boat trailers and landscape trailers. Any kind of thing that you don't want taken out of your driveway, you can cable up a bunch of ATVs and snowmobiles. We're in snowmobile season. We do a lot of 700 snow groomers and snowmobiles in the wintertime. Wow. So the combination of the alarms that are inexpensive, the trackers that are inexpensive, really are just, it's just, everyone needs to have it on something of value.
I agree. I totally, and it's a peace of mind. What is that worth to you? Peace of mind. I think.
Yeah, I work in a tackle shop, one of the biggest in Central Florida, And 3 years ago, we had people with sledgehammers come through our walls. If we had, and they took every single reel in the store, and we're known for carrying everything. If we had one in a box, because they didn't open any of the boxes, could you imagine if we had one of those trackers in a box? We would have located those people right away. It took 2 years for the police to find them.
Wow.
I'll tell you a quick funny story. We had a bunch of trackers, I think I told you maybe, Riscala, coming from Canada on a porch that were all turned on, just like I lobbed through that tracker into the guy's boat yesterday. And a pizza kid came to deliver pizza, and he stole the trackers. Turns out that he had no idea what they were. He went pawn store to pawn store trying to sell these things. And the police officer said, don't stop them, don't recover them, let them keep going. And they were able to track with our trackers every single underground pawn shop that the kid went to try and sell these things. He didn't know what they were, and then they apprehended them. So that was a great story of just let the guy go, let him keep driving.
My goodness. I love it.
So,
if you're going to be silly enough to pull a stunt like that, then you deserve the karma that comes with it, and to be found caught red-handed. Oh my gosh! Yeah.
And here's one other really scientific thing that we do. We've got some buoys that are up in Lake Michigan, and we have the trackers right attached to the buoy. They collect water samples and temperatures. And the sole purpose of the tracker is if the buoy gets broken off of the bottom and starts drifting, that they can recover the scientific buoy.
Wow.
So we have things like that. We're looking in the lobster pot business. There's so much poaching going on. So something that's, tracking for just safety and for recovery and keeping assets is just so important, whether it be boating or other industries. So I really appreciate you always having me on and being able to share a little bit about, how to keep people a little safer.
No, I like what.
How do they get a hold of you? Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
That's okay. Yep, you can reach out to me on my mobile number. I'm always available. It's 954-465-3743. You can find all information about us on Facebook at Atlas Tracks. Is the Facebook page, or atlastracks.com. Reach out to us. We're 24/7 as best we can be to answer questions and help people.
And it is ATLASTRAX.
That is correct.
atlastracks.com.
Right.
And I enjoy having you on. You've always got some interesting stories. That was pretty interesting what you said a few minutes ago. All right, my dear. Thank
absolutely.
you.
All right. Thank you so much for having me.
Enjoy your day.
Pam.
Go ahead, Pam.
Oh, no, bye. She ended so quick. Sorry.
No, I'm here. Thank you so much.
Okay.
And reach out to me, Pam. We'll get a tracker for your Panama trip.
I will. That'll be a lot of fun. That'll be fun to post.
Perfect. All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank
Have
you.
a good Sunday.
You're listening to the Fish Florida Show with your host, Riscala. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
What's up, Ricky Dillon here at the largest social media gathering in the world. So the internet is an amazing place, but sometimes it can be a not so great place with online bullying and trolling and stuff. Have you ever seen online bullying before?
Unfortunately, it's kind of common. Online, people can hide behind the internet. Those comment sections can be a little
harsh.
Yeah,
definitely.
That's a good word for it.
I've been called many homophobic names.
I felt embarrassed. I felt humiliated. It made me stop liking myself.
What if I told you there is something that you can use anytime that you see bullying online that calls attention to it in a nice way? Like, hey, that's not nice.
I wish that was the thing.
It's this! So anytime that you see any kind of hate online, go into your phone, go into the symbol section, post this I, and it says that that's bullying, that's not nice. So would you post this if you saw someone bullying someone?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's like a lot more mature way to handle the situation.
Find the emoji in your phone, send it to 5 of your friends, and let them know what it means to be a witness.
Go to eyewitnessbullying.org to learn more about the emoji.
Thinking of moving? Before you do anything else, call Diane Whittick of Bowen Realty. She provides a concierge service. Things like having your home or condo packed and shipped, even take care of your home repairs or upgrades. Diane has the expertise to get it done. As a seller, you will have constant contact. She will furnish you with bids on any services that might need completion: air conditioning, plumbing, handyman, and even cleaning. Living up north and have a home to sell here in South Florida? Just give her the keys, address, and a signature. Your payment will be wired when the property is sold. That's right, Diane does it all. Thinking of buying? Diane has great listening skills. Tell her what you want, give her your budget, and like a genie, she will make your real estate wish come true. There's no regrets when you choose Diane Whittick of Bowen Realty. To reach Diane, call 561-247-5478. That's 561-247-5478. Diane Whittick at Bowen Realty, located in Wellington at Wellington Trace East and Forest Hill Boulevard. 561-247-5478.
We just finished dinner and it was time for homework.
He hates homework.
It makes no sense.
I don't know how he finds anything in his backpack.
I can't find my backpack.
I couldn't even read his handwriting.
Holding the pencil makes my hand hurt.
I know he's bright.
Why is it so hard for me?
He's
I'm
just
trying
gotta
as
try a
hard
little
as
harder.
I can.
When you can see learning and attention issues from their side, you can be on their side. Go to understood.org, a free online resource with support and tools to help your child thrive.
Do you have an unusual pet? Did you know that the Rainforest Clinic in Loxahatchee specializes in exotic pets? They see pets that other vets don't. Parrots and chickens, ducks, geese, turtles, snakes, goats, pigs, lizards, and even monkeys. Are you a beekeeper? Dr. Clubb, the first of her kind in the area? Yes, she takes care of bees as well. Dr. Susan Clubb has decades of experience and known around the world for her reputation as a premier avian vet. Located at 3319 E Road in Loxahatchee, just a short distance north of Okeechobee Road, you will find a modern clinic with in-house labs, which allow you to get your test answers quickly. You can find them online at www.susanclubb.com. That's www.susanclubb.com. Or you can reach her at 561-795-4878. It's Dr. Susan Clubb. That's 561-795-4878. The Rainforest Clinic located in Loxahatchee. 561-795-4878.
I grab my fishing pole and cast it in the water. I fish until dawn. Oh my, I caught a shark. I'm fishing and blowing on. When the sun shines all day. They call me a grouper. So I'm fishing and blowing on. Oh yeah.
It's the Fish Florida Show with your host, Riscala Stevens, bringing the outdoors to you every Sunday morning, 8 to 10 a.m. And now your host, Riscala Stevens.
All right, we are back. It is the Fish Florida Show. It is always an honor and a privilege to have you listen in, and we're having my board is misbehaving on me here. Let me get this set back up. This morning I have with me Pam. Pam is one of the top female kayak anglers here in Florida. She's always so kind to come in and spend time with us. She brings a unique perspective to the table, if you will. Someone who's literally on the water's edge. Thank you, Pam. Always an honor and privilege to have you on. Good morning.
Good morning. Oh, I enjoy the show so much. I learn something every time. It's such a good show. And the people you have on are amazing. It's so much fun.
I'm always learning. And my next guest, Mike with kitefishing.com, I learned a lot from this guy because I was so ignorant. I realized how ignorant I was about kite fishing and what kite fishing can do and the options that it allows you to have and how sophisticated but yet how simple it can be. Good morning, Mike. How you doing, my friend?
Good morning, Riscala. Good morning, Pam. How are you guys?
Great, Mike. Boy, it's been windy out there. How does that affect your kites?
I'll tell you something. It's been great. We just finished 2 days of fishing the Sailfish Challenge, which is a tournament here in South Florida. Covers 3 inlets, and it was just an epic sailfish bite. I mean, for these last couple of days, it was great.
So
you said 3 inlets. Which inlets?
If I got the facts right, well, we fish out of Palm Beach, which is the Lake Worth Inlet, and then I believe the southern inlet is Hillsborough and Government Cut, which is Miami. So I think it's the 3 inlets that are covered. We absolutely fished the northern end, so we were fishing around the Jupiter area, and it seems like that big body of fish moved south just in time for this. It was really exciting.
How many people were? How many boats were in it?
52 boats. It seemed like because the best of the bite was up in Jupiter, most of those boats kind of worked their way up that way. But remember the last couple of weeks I was telling you that the fish were, a month ago they were in Sebastian area, Cocoa Beach, and then they started to slide their way south. They were Fort Pierce a couple of weeks ago, and then around Jupiter, it seemed like every boat this week was going out and finding at least 6 to 10 fish. per day, and carried on into the tournament.
Wow.
Is that the area on the East Coast where the oh, my mind is. I'm having a hard time this morning, Mike, because I haven't had coffee. Where the current that goes back and forth. My gosh.
Yeah, the Gulf Stream current.
Is that
Gulf Stream current?
Yeah, is that where at that point where it comes the closest to the shore? Is that where it's at?
Well, it really starts to come closest around Boca Raton, Boynton Beach area, and as it slides north past Palm Beach, it tends to angle. That western edge of the Gulf Stream will angle a little bit more to the east, so further offshore.
Mm-hmm.
So Jupiter's not the closest point. We tend to find that Gulf Stream edge, 5-6 miles east of Jupiter. And then as you get to Fort Pierce, it slides even further, 10, 15 miles. So that's the angle it takes.
What?
But when
how
you go
far?
south,
How far off of Boca is it?
oh, it can be as close as a mile. I mean,
Oh,
Boynton
wow.
Inlet, Boca, Boynton, we come out of the inlet there, or as we slide south, it's just right there. Seems like you can throw a stone at the buildings, but man, the fishing's great.
Wow. Okay, I apologize. You're getting ready to say something else, and I got in the middle of it.
No, but I mean, if you could imagine, as you were talking, as it gets closer to the beach, closer to the coast, it stacks the fish. It acts like a funnel. So as the fish come to the south, they're spread out around Daytona Beach, Sebastian, Cocoa Beach, and it starts to funnel, and they get a little bit more concentrated. Fort Pierce, Jupiter, and it just acts as that little alleyway. They call it Sailfish Alley. And as they come to the south, all those fish go from spread out to close. And when they're near the surface, we're flying kites. It's amazing how many fish can be congregated in one area.
This is, I was going to say it's almost like shooting fish in a barrel, right? Because like you mentioned, it's almost like a funnel that they're all going to be in, congregating into this one area. You happen to be in that area at the right time. Hey,
Yeah, it's all about the right time. Just like any fish, when they're not eating, you can look at them and they just don't care.
Yeah.
But when they are, they got to survive. So when everything adds up and they're chewing, it's great.
Wow. Wow. So any other tournaments that are happening today, or not necessarily today, but in our time coming up here?
Well, the next big one is in a couple weeks, and that's going to be out of Key Largo. That's the Jimmy Johnson. And, talking to the guys on the team yesterday, that's the one they really enjoyed fishing. So all these great sailfish teams will kind of pack their stuff, go down to Ocean Reef, go down to Key Largo. Jimmy Johnson is the former football coach and Fox, football announcer. He loves to fish and he loves this tournament. So he's actually set this format up so that the winning team will win what is the equivalent of Super Bowl rings for sailfishing.
Yeah, it is amazing.
Beautiful.
Yeah, we covered it last. We covered it last. I was one of the first tournaments I covered as the Fish Florida show host, and they don't. How am I trying to describe it? They don't hold anything back. We were at the Hard Rock Cafe down there in Fort Lauderdale, I think it is, and they were having the pre-thing. I don't recall what it was where everybody goes around. They get to pick their clothes, they get to pick their shoes, they get to pick. It's just they don't hold anything back. And I met some of the neatest people there, and that is a phenomenal. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, the grand prize is like $1 million.
Yeah, there's a lot of money in that one. I don't know what we haven't gotten to that level yet as far as winning that first prize, but I think it's big money. Big money.
I think or maybe it's $1 million altogether in prizes. Maybe that's what it is. But I know it's $1 million. Somewhere in there's $1 million. And these people that we met there, people from the cooler manufacturer. I can't think of the particular one, but a couple of cooler manufacturers. A lot of people that had different kinds of gear that were there. Really, really great people. Really, it was a wonderful thing. It was amazing. It was like I said, they don't cut any corners. This is to me, it was like the top of the cream of the crop of a tournament. Of course, it's quite expensive to get involved, but you get what you pay for.
Yeah, it's really fun. It's really a fun event, and Jimmy does it right.
Yeah, that's
so.
Yeah.
I mean, we have a lot to look forward to. And I mean, the fish, I don't know what that means relative to the fish being here in Jupiter right now that we're experiencing. They still, how it is when fish migrate. So there's been waves of fish that have been moving south. So hopefully some will stack up off the Keys. And wherever they are, those great teams will find them.
I had Robert with Florida Fisherman Magazine was telling us about cobia. You seen cobia out there?
Yeah, actually, that's another species that's kind of doing pretty well. I understand this guy's catching them right off the beach. Not fishing from the beach, but you run the beach.
Mm-hmm.
As the sun comes up, the sun is sitting at 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. When it's overhead, guys will get in their towers and slowly cruise along the beach and look for rays or turtles or something that will hold the cobia. Because cobia are a fish that like to, stay with something that is, structure related. So they'll follow these manta rays and they'll chase cobia. And off of the sand pile in Stewart is another place that they're getting a bunch of them. So yeah, cobia are here.
What about mahi-mahi? How are we doing on that?
Well, we got into them on Friday. We were fishing off of Juneau in about 185, 200 feet of water. And they were also moving. So these schools of mahi, I'd say anywhere between flipper size, which are meaning fish that you could just flip into the boat instead of gaffing them, up to gaffer sizes. The gaffers are anything probably over 8 pounds, 8 to 15, 20 or bigger.
Wow.
We were catching those as well. So, I mean, not in great numbers. I think we got 5, and we were live baiting with kites, of course. We got 5 that day on Friday and then 1 yesterday. So they're around.
All right. Pam is a little quiet back there this morning. Are you drinking all your coffee? Have you had your bucket yet?
Oh, no. I got plenty of coffee. I just don't want to interrupt the flow. You guys are doing so great. Gaffing dolphin is tough for me. I ended up the last 2 dolphin and the last tuna. I grabbed it by the tail and flung it in the kayak. And then you have to jump on it.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I'm always amazed at what you do, Pam, because I start thinking about catching big fish in the kayak. Pretty amazing to me.
There's the one picture that she sent me that stands out like a sore thumb for me. She's in the kayak and she's got the hold of the sailfish, and the thing's got to be 3/4 the length of the kayak, and she's a big grin on her face, like, "Yep, this is like every day for me."
No, that was pretty exciting. That one took me from the inlet basically all the way down. Locals call it the steeple in Pompano. That one church you can see there. That just drug me all over. That was a monster sailfish.
Wow.
That's pretty cool.
You do need to speak to Carolyn, Pam. When you have issues like that, God forbid that thing takes you out.
I have issues
out into the Gulf Stream, and you'll be headed north for a while. You'll be pedaling your legs off.
I know. I hooked on this coast. I hooked into a monster sand shark, and I thought we were headed to Mexico. It was spring break at the time, and I think he just thought, "Yeah, time to go to Mexico for spring break."
Oh my God!
I finally just cut him off. It was crazy.
So, Mike, it was pretty windy here the last couple of days, and that really made me think of you. I thought in a situation like this where the wind is blowing like crazy, I'm sure that you could tell me they have kites for that, right? When it's really windy.
Yeah. So what happened was the wind was it started off really light on Friday, so we were using ultralight kites, which means everything: spars, centerpieces, material is super light, super light. And even then, there wasn't enough wind to get them flying. So we put helium, big 30-inch helium balloons strapped to the kite, and a couple weights in the corner to move them right and left. So that was on Friday. Then the wind started picking up. It got so heavy at one point on Saturday, we switched to what's called a 40-hole extra heavy wind kite. And that's a kite where the material actually has holes punched in it, all symmetrical. So there's 40 of them in total. And it allows all that heavy wind to pass through the kite. The spars are heavier, able to take more pressure. Centerpieces oftentimes can be upgraded to heavier material. And that means, all the extra force that wind creates and the kite can pass through it and fly fairly much with ease in heavy wind, and quite stable.
I imagine you're describing it. I can imagine almost like I don't know if you've ever driven by some of these construction sites where they have the fences, and then they'll put this something over it so you can't see in, but whatever they put over it has little flaps cut into it so that it doesn't,
Sure.
it allows the air to breathe through it. Something like that.
Yeah.
I am so
Hello?
grateful because prior to meeting you, I always thought it was, I was ignorant. I always thought kite fishing is like no big deal. It's really no.
Well,
go ahead, Pam.
So, I was going to say, sometime when you don't have a tournament, it'd be fun to. We'll pool our money, and we're going to go out with you. We're going to charter you, and we're going to go out, and we're going to go kite fishing. I think it'd be a whole hoot.
We've been talking about that for a while, and it'd be great if you guys do. It doesn't matter what time of year. There's different species, not always sailfish. And, as I've told you before, we catch almost every species on a kite. I've even seen in shallower water, and when we're chumming, we've seen bottom fish like snapper and grouper come up and eat kite baits. So
wow,
it doesn't happen often. It doesn't happen all the time, but like I said, it's hard for a fish to resist a really struggling live bait, particularly when you don't see a lot of the terminal tackle. So these bait are struggling on the surface. The kite's either in their nose or in their back, and the fish are looking up and not seeing your leader, the hook, anything.
Yeah.
So it makes it quite an exciting bite too.
You can watch them
That's
come
what
up.
Yeah, it would be like on the flats, and you watch them come flying out of the water to hit a topwater lure.
Sure. It's topwater fishing all day long.
Oh, we got to do that, Risco. We got to do it.
I am. I'm looking forward to that. If people want to reach you, Mike, how do they do that?
Well, the easiest way is, because you can find my contact information on the website. So website, kitefishing.com, very easy to remember. And then on Facebook, it's Kitefishing Expert - Mike Simcoe, also easy to find. And my contact information's on there.
I appreciate you, my friend. Thank you. And always
good.
Always interesting that the stuff that you bring to the table. I'm going to have Peter on here right after you, and I'm going to have Angelia on later. So a couple of people that have used Peter's lures. Mike is one of them. Angelia is another one. Peter Camarano with JCam Lures. Anyway, just want to let you know I'll have him on here shortly, and I know that you use his stuff and you approve of it.
Oh, I can't wait to listen. I like Pete a lot. He does magnificent lures, and they've been. Tell you what, when I'm fishing for wahoo, that's the one thing I can't leave home without.
There was a thing on a while back about don't leave home without it. Was it the American Express card, right? So
exactly.
So a JCam lure, if you're going to go wahoo fishing, JCam lure, don't leave home without it.
Right on. Well, it's great talking to you guys always. So thanks for having me on.
Thank
Good
you,
luck
Mike.
in the Keys.
Yes, thank you. Appreciate it. We need it.
I'm looking forward to having you on again, my friend.
Thanks, Riscala.
God
See
bless.
you later, Pam.
Thank you.
Listening to the Fish Florida Show with your host, Riscala. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
From the author of Silent Steps and Haunted, Finding an Explanation for the Unknown, comes a story so chilling it will haunt you for years to come. Krista is a young woman escaping her past, running away from her family, her traumas, and her God, hoping to find a new life in a different town. But when she is forced to make a horrible choice, she comes to realize malevolent entities have controlled the true darkness she has been a part of. That is when her real terror begins. Penitence is disturbing and evocative. It will tear down the walls between what is real and what is nightmare. Penitence is the new novel by the man called the new master of speculative fiction, Ira Robinson. Find it and all of his books at his website, originalworlds.com.
Do you own a laser printer, copier, or a fax? Well then, listen close to this announcement. Laser Technologies has been providing high-quality, frustration-free toner cartridges that are guaranteed not to harm your equipment for over 20 years. Laser Technologies will save you on your supplies with high quality and fast delivery. Savings up to 50%. Laser Technologies supplies toner, imaging drums, developer and cartridges for most of the major brands. For a price quote, send an email to service@laser-technologies.com. Include your printer make and model for your part number. Call us at 561-792-9600. That's 561-792-9600. Laser Technologies, providing 100% of the quality at a fraction of the price. 561-792-9600.
Want to give your pet the celebrity treatment? Have you heard of Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care in Royal Palm Beach? They're located just off State Road 7 and have been servicing the area for 14 years. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care is the home of the Blueberry Facial, also specializing in tartar removal with 8 years of assisting in dental procedures. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care? They're more than just about dogs. They are the only experienced cat groomer in the area. They also cater to all breeds and sizes and open 6 days a week. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care, located just north of the Super Walmart in Royal Palm Beach. You can find them at 250 Business Parkway. They specialize in shampoos with no extra charge. Flea and tick dips also available. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care. You can give them a call at 561-793-9992. They also provide gift certificates for those looking for that special present. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care. 561-793-9992. They're located in Royal Palm Beach. That number, 561-793-9992. Call for your appointment today. 561-793-9992. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care, where your pet gets celebrity treatment.
Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why did the girl ask the mushroom to dance? Because he was a fun guy. What do you call a pig that knows karate? Pork chop. Why was the basketball court all wet? Why? Because the players kept dribbling all over it. Can I tell you another one? So how does a tissue dance? Put a little boogie on it. What's Beethoven's favorite fruit? Banana. What is a boxer's favorite drink? Fruit punch.
Dad joke. Corny, groan-worthy, but also one of the simplest ways to share a moment with your kids.
What did the buffalo say when he dropped his son off at school? Bye, son.
So take a moment to make your kid laugh, because dad jokes rule. Make your kid laugh today. Go to fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
I grabbed my fishing pole and cast it in the water. I fish until dawn. Oh my, I caught a shark. I'm fishing and blowing on when the sun shines all day. They call me a grouper. So I'm fishing and blowing on. Oh yeah.
It's the Fish Florida Show with your host, Riscala Stevens, bringing the outdoors to you every Sunday morning, 8 to 10 a.m. And now your host, Riscala Stevens.
All right, my friends, it is the Fish Florida Show, an honor and a privilege to be with you. And my co-host this morning, Pam Worth, she's one of the top female kayak anglers here in Florida, always generous with her time when it comes to the Fish Florida Show. Ever so grateful for her coming and sharing with us. Very good morning to you, Pam, and again, ever so grateful. Thank you for being here.
Well, good morning, and you know me, I enjoy it. I enjoy talking to all your guests. Mike was very interesting. I think kite flying for fishing is amazing. I haven't been able to get into it, but man, that's one of the things on my list.
I think you told me that you have seen people in kayaks there, right? Or you know somebody that kayaks?
Yeah. Bobby, a bunch of the guys kite fish. If anybody has Instagram and they want to look him up, Bobby, he's called the Yak Rat. And he tournament fishes and uses kites. I'm just not that talented.
Wow. Well,
experience, let's put it that way.
My next guest is Peter Camarano, and Peter is another one that I am so happy and honored to help support in whatever way I can, because he's a small businessman, he's a veteran, he's a fellow brother in arms, and he also, one of the things that is one of my passions, he works with other people and helping other people do different things. So, and he's got a new line. I wanted him to come on this morning. You've got a new line, right, Peter? Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you?
Well, go ahead, Pam.
Oh, I'm great. Rochelle says you have a new line. I've tried your lures. They're amazing. They're beautiful and extremely functional. Thank you very much.
Well, you just made my day. You know that?
Truth hurts.
But no, sometimes, yes. What we did was just added a new dimension. We're still keeping the basic look, but we are adding a vinyl double skirt to the line instead of the blended nylon and mylar. And what it does, it gives us the ability to give different looks to the lure, so that we've got more of a variety of baits that hopefully, besides attracting the angler, also put some fish in the boat. But
when you say double skirt, what do you mean by that?
All right, when you look at a lure, for the most part, you see what looks like a tube or vinyl with tentacles that come off of it. We call that the skirt. Now, most lures may have only one, perhaps two, but we go ahead and we double skirt all of ours up and down the line. Now, we'll put a accent skirt on top, and then what I call the highlight, which is all silver fleck underneath, so that we do get the flash that goes along with it that we need to, I think, to attract fish. I look at sight, scent, noise, and action of being four critical things in attracting a fish. The sight, obviously, that's pretty self-explanatory. Movement. Different lures are designed to do different things. The J-Cam lures are designed to troll straight and true. The noise, we have no noise, but we do have the look, the flash that goes with it. But it's been received very well by the public, and they also happen to be putting fish in the boat, and that, I think, is most important. But if I may, with that comment, fish in the boat, we need to understand or recognize that sport fishing is changing. Women and children are becoming more a significant part of this offshore fishing industry, if you want to call it that. No, they may not have the physical strength to match up against a man, but they do master technique. And you have somebody coming on after me, Captain Angela Swanson of Florida Cowgirl Charters. Mm-hmm. Angela cannot be more than 100 pounds soaking wet. Okay,
I know.
Am I right?
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
but there's a video she did not too long ago of her fighting a 40-pound plus amberjack for well over a half an hour. Right? Now, anybody that is tangled with an amberjack that size, that long, will know they've been in a fight. Now, she had 57,000 views with that one video. She has received compliments, and even one charter captain at a Tavernier thanked her for tips on vertical jigging. Now, why am I bringing this up? Not too long ago, she had a picture of a nice wahoo on the boat. Okay, well, there was a video. There's a video.
Yeah. Yep, I put the video
Got
up on the
compliments
Facebook page. Yep.
up and down. That's a lot of people, except from a few. They had to criticize a man. Criticize. Well, your angle wasn't right. Okay, you had the fish off the wrong side of the boat, and the gaff shot, and so on. Bad gaff shot. Need to know. Well, you know what? That fish was in the boat. There was blood on the deck, and that's what counts. But we from time to time, we get people that are jealous and cannot accept the fact that here is a competent, experienced lady angler that put in a situation can handle herself on a boat with a great deal of expertise. Now, we also, Pam, you also, okay? You're one of the top kayakers in the state of Florida. Now, I'm sure there are men that are physically stronger than you, and maybe could handle some aspect of kayak tournament fishing with a little more ease. But my gosh, how do you get to be one of the top? Because you master the technique, you have the determination and the drive. There's a couple of other out of Daytona, Pat Hughes, Total Vision fishing team. She is SKA Region 8 Lady Angler of the Year.
Wow.
Sherry Bestwick, Lady Angler with Spiced Rum 3, top Lady Angler for Region 10. We go on and then Angela, what she's doing. Mm-hmm. We need to recognize women's. I've got a young man working with me now that I think later on you'll find interesting, Risca. 15 years old.
Wow.
He's on his second boat that he owns, and he's rebuilding it. He has, at his age, can outfish men and technique, knowledge, and so on. It's amazing. So, gentlemen, people, do not discount our ladies and not discount our young people. They're there, they're good, and they are significant members of the offshore fishing community. I will now get off my soapbox and
I'll tell you that. I'll share with you.
I'm very serious about that.
I'll share with you.
That's very kind of you.
For me, growing up, fishing in our family was one of the things that we did all the time. And I think, just in my experience, I think that it was because my mom loved fish. My mom loved to fish. She loved everything about fishing. Nothing about fishing bothered her. You know, like we know we go out there, we get stinky, and you have to clean the fish. It's not very nice. None of that. She liked every part of cooking it, every part of it. And I knew that, recognized later on in years how important, how vital that was to our family being together. It was kind of like the part of the glue, if you will, that helped the family remain together, because we did it on a regular basis. If we did it 2 or 3 times a month, it wasn't uncommon for us as a family to go out on a weekend and do it. So I have helped in whatever way I can to promote. I've had Betty with Ladies Let's Go Fishing. I've had her on a couple of times. Mm-hmm. I know that there's a direct, and this, I'm not trying to be political, there's a direct attack on the family today. It's difficult for the family to remain together. I kind of mentioned it earlier. We're saturated with electronics. Everywhere we go, we got these little things in our hands. We go out to dinner, it's just a human being 3 feet in front of us, but we're wasting our time on this piece of technology rather than investing time with a human being in front of us. So when we go out and we do something like this gives us the opportunity to open up to each other. We've got that, hopefully the electronics are down, the Xboxes are out, and the tackle boxes, the Xboxes are down, the tackle boxes are out, kind of thing. I think it's Robert that tells me that one. So I'm always in support of that. They play, in my life, it played a vital part. So I know that it could be the same for other people. And then I see people like Pam. Pam's love and passion for this kind of activity. And not only just the love and the passion, but then the effort. You see that through her efforts, like you said, you don't get to be number one. You don't get to be one of the top anglers in Florida. We're not talking top angler in Palm Beach County or somewhere in Fort Myers. We're talking about Florida. it's because of the efforts, and it's because of the success that she's had. And that, I believe, in and of itself will help other women. Oh, man, look at her. She can do it. If she can do it, I should be able to do it. If you look at somebody like Angelia, she's, 100 pounds soaking wet, right? That video that you talked about is on our website, on the Fish Florida Show. You can watch her. She's got full control of what's going on. There's no question when you watch this person. One thing I have learned in my life, when you watch somebody do something, the easier that they make it look, the more professional that they are. And she makes it look easy. And I know from what I watched, it's not easy. And she had full control of that. She didn't horse that fish in. She was patient. She knew which direction to pull it. She knew exactly when the time was ready for it to come up to the boat. Again, so whenever I can, I support it. I'm totally in support of it. And my one and only co-host is a woman, one of the top female kayak anglers.
It's a lot of fun. Fishing is a lot of fun. It really is. You get out there, it's peaceful. You really enjoy yourself.
But at the same time, there is a method to that madness to know how and what to do and when to do it. Go ahead. It's technique. So much is based upon preparation. I've been heard, some anglers have been told that they're lucky. They're not lucky. It's preparation meeting opportunity. That's the definition of luck. They were prepared when that fish hit for the opportunity to put that fish in the boat. They had that double uni knot tied right, okay? So it is that goes along with it. And you're saying, it's all handed down through family, all right? Talk with a lot of successful anglers, and they will go ahead and tell you, oh yeah, it was my dad, it was my grandfather, it was my uncle, it was my brother, sister, or what, mom that was instrumental in me becoming interested and committed to going fishing and the passion of it. I have a little 9-year-old boy comes into the shop virtually 2-3 times a week. And he'll go to the discount part of the shop and he'll spend I have $1, okay? And he'll find some little lure. I'm going to go right down now and try it off the seawall. And he'll come back. Oh, I lost it, or this happened, or whatever. But eyes lit up, intense. Kid is riding on 10 feet of air. But it's good to see that. Without that, our industry, our sport will die. We need that infusion of energy, of youth, of passion. And yes, and now today you say technology. Technology is a part of fishing. Look at what we have out there. Fish finders radar 12 miles away can tell you if you got a bird 15 feet off the water hunting bait. So anyway, life is so good. All right, we got a beautiful day out here. We got the Honda Classic going. The baseball season opened up last night for spring training. So water is still a little bit iffy, a little choppy yesterday, but king mackerel and sail are running. Wahoo and an occasional dolphin still around. But you got to look around and say, life is good, man. Life is good.
Yeah, amen. Thank you. If people want to reach you, Peter, or people want more information about what it is that you do, how do they do that?
Well, my phone is on virtually 24 hours a day, 561-502-7022. We are redesigning the website, so that's offline right now, but we are on Facebook. That can be done.
Is that JCam?
Easiest way, yeah. Call me direct, all right? Let's talk. We can design something custom for you. We can set you up with how to go ahead, rods, reels, lines, the terminal tackle, the things that you need equipment-wise, to be expensive without breaking the bank, okay?
Good to know, my friend. Well, I appreciate you calling in, Pam. Any parting words for Peter?
Yeah, I just want to let people know, go out and try his stuff. If you're fishing offshore, I have not found any tackle, skirts, rigs better than what Peter has. And all the tournament anglers will tell you, the big guys, all tell you they catch fish on his stuff.
Yeah, Mike Simcoe was just on, and he'll give testimony that J-Cam Lures I believe he even said on today's show that's his choice for what was it, Wahoo, I think, if I'm not mistaken, was his choice for Wahoo. So I appreciate it, Peter. God bless you, my friend. Thank you for calling in. Looking forward to having you on again. You're always informative. I wish you a wonderful day. It's beautiful out there.
And tell Captain Angela I said hello, okay?
I'll do it.
All right, see you guys later. Pam, take care. Be safe. Talk to you again.
Thank you, sir. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Being a dad is an adventure full of special moments.
A cruise?
Surprise!
Unexpected moments.
I got this.
And even awkward moments.
Okay, Dad, thank you.
But every moment you spend with your kids, even the smallest moments, can make the biggest impact on your child's life. So take a moment to be a dad today.
There's a lot of fear in coming back to school. I wasn't sure if I could do it. I'm a 40-year-old man that walked in there to get his high school diploma. It was very hard for me, but the teachers, the counselors, they help you. One of the teachers was Miss Araceli. Miss Araceli, she gave me direction. Every single time I had a question, she'll put down whatever she's doing and she'll come over and she'll sit there with you until you get it. Thank you, Miss Araceli. I know you make a difference in people's lives because of the person and teacher you are. I wanted to be here because I wanted to thank you for helping me get a beautiful gift. 50% of getting your high school diploma is walking through those doors. The other 50% is doing the work. Getting your high school diploma, it is a life-changing experience. It really is.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Have you ever heard of Audible? Audible is a website with hundreds of thousands of audiobooks. They're all high quality, easy to listen to, and, best of all, if you take advantage of a special deal that we've worked out for you, you can get one for free. That's right, a free audiobook of your choice in any genre, simply by going to audibletrial.com/openeyes and signing up for the free trial. It's simple to do, and it would support the shows that we bring to you, and hey, you get a free book out of the whole thing. So why not take advantage of it today? Go to audibletrial.com/openeyes and sign up for the trial.
Ask 10 different scientists about the environment, population control, genetics, and you'll get 10 different answers. But there's one thing every scientist on the planet agrees on. Whether it happens in 100 years, or 1,000 years, or 1,000,000 years, eventually our sun will grow cold and go out. When that happens, it won't just take us. It'll take Marilyn Monroe, and Lao Tzu, and Einstein, and Morobuto, and Buddy Holly, and Aristophanes. All of this was for nothing. Unless we go to the stars.
Do you need toner for your Epson, Hewlett-Packard, Canon, Brother, Apple, or Sharp printers? Look no further than Laser Technologies. In business for over 20 years, they offer the lowest prices on toner on the web. They can also repair your laser printers and toners fast and easy. Call their expert staff today at 561-792-9600 or email us at service@laser-technologies.com for all your toner needs. All toner is shipped nationwide. Why wait? Get the lowest prices on toner. Call or email us today.
While other stations just talk a good game, we win it.
Hey,
sounds like somebody's having a lot of fun.
Oh, I grab my fishing pole and cast it in the water. I fish until dawn. Oh my, I caught a shark. I'm fishing and blowing on. When the sun shines all day. They call me a grouper. 'Cause I'm fishing and blowing on. Oh yeah.
It's the Fish Florida Show with your host, Riscala Stevens, bringing the outdoors to you every Sunday morning, 8 to 10 a.m. And now your host, Riscala Stevens.
Well, a good morning to you. If you're just joining in, you missed out on quite a bit. We've had Robert on this morning. We've had, we've had Carolyn on this morning. We've had Mike's has been on with us this morning. Peter was just on with us about his lures. My next guest is someone who also has used Peter's lures, and actually, with the help of Peter, has, from what I understand, has designed her own line of lures. I should probably correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I'm correct. Good morning,
You
Miss
are
Angelina.
correct.
Good morning to you.
Good morning to you both. It's a beautiful morning, and very happy to be here.
Well, it's an honor
But
and privilege
yes.
to have you with us. And good morning back to you, Miss Pam. I apologize. I just realized I just skipped over Pam.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. We've got
Pam's
an,
always there.
This
yeah,
is
we've got an interesting guest on. Go straight to the guest, I think.
this is what happens when the lack
Well,
of coffee in the morning.
If you don't mind, I'd love to talk for a minute. Following Pete is a perfect place for me to follow because, yes, indeed, I did, with his help, design my own line, and it's done exceptionally well. I agree with Pete. The more flash, more bang for your buck. I like really bright colors. I like a lot of flash, a lot of silver, and the lures that we've come up with together, and well, his lures just produce, period. But the lures we've come up together have been very successul. And in fact, all the videos that you have on, minus me jigging, they're all caught with J-Cam lures, everything. If I'm using a type of lure that J-Cam makes, it's a J-Cam lure. So, yeah, absolutely. Hands down. Pete's done some of the most beautiful work. It's just gorgeous. So, and we've got a lot of people out there that attest to it. So
Yeah,
you really can't complain.
I don't know if you were listening, but I had Mike on earlier, Mike Simcoe with Kite Fishing, kitefishing.com, and he uses Peter's lures, and he attests to him as well. And I've had.
Hey, and I'll
go ahead.
I'll pitch in for that kite fishing trip because I know nothing about it. So I'll pitch into that.
Hey,
That would be a fun boat. The three of us
Yes,
with him.
would-
Oh my gosh, that
be
would
a
be hysterical. That'd be hysterical.
Oh yeah, and it would be a really good learning lesson.
Yeah.
I'll be comic relief.
Oh, I don't know. We'll have to fight for that. But yes, I was also very, very flattered the way Pete and you all spoke about women anglers. It's very, very true. Technique is everything. And once you learn how to use your equipment properly and use the drag and be patient and learn about the different fish and how they hit and how they run and you know, how they behave once they're hooked, it's very, very important. Once you figure all that stuff out, it really isn't that hard. Now, don't get me wrong. It's like a workout, but it's the most adrenaline rush, beautiful, natural high you'll ever get in your life. And I want the fight to last as long as possible, you know? I mean, my goodness, that's wonderful. Nothing like a mahi jumping on you for 30 minutes, you know?
Yeah. What's that? What do they say? The tug is the drug?
The tug is the drug.
I like that.
There you go. I need Peter to design, and I talked to him about that, something that you control slowly, because my average troll speed is like 1.5 to top 2 knots.
Wow.
Something
That's
I would
really
imagine
interesting.
something
We
light.
could do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Something right in there. I've got another tournament coming down in June off Pompano, so I'm looking for. My goal is tuna, only because they weigh more than kingfish. So I'm looking for tuna and kings, and possibly if there's still sales. Well, Pompano usually has a couple resident sales in the area, so that would be fun.
What kind of
Are
tournament
you
is this?
trolling off a kayak? I'm sorry, Riscala.
No,
Are you trolling off a kayak?
Yes. Yes.
I'm so impressed.
Slow troll and adrift. Slow troll and
I
adrift.
love it.
Yeah, she
I
has.
love it. That's great. Love it.
She has a pedal thing like a bicycle on her kayak, so she pedals herself around.
That's the way most of the fishing kayaks are, to my knowledge, these days. I'm not much of I'm a pleasure kayaker, not a fisher kayaker, at least, not seriously. I goof around a little bit, but I don't have one with the pedals.
I was so,
and I know that the pedals make all the difference in the world, right?
I was so ignorant. I didn't even know it existed.
There's still guys out there that'll turn them in fish with just the paddles. But for handling the fish, and especially if a sail hits or a wahoo, you only have X amount of line in your reel. And you've got to chase it, and it's going to be really hard to paddle and try to chase that fish down.
Oh, heck yeah.
I can't
Yeah.
imagine that.
Well, I think that's very impressive. And I'm sure that we could come up with something for you that would stay on top at that rate.
That's what I'm
Sure
looking
we
for.
could.
Lots
Oh,
of
yeah.
flash. So anyhow, I was going to give him a call, and we'll try to get something designed for kayakers out there.
Hey,
That's the one really great thing about Pete is he can really come up with some fantastic ideas and some fantastic designs for just about anything. He's really good with it.
That's one of the advantages of dealing with a small business. Again, I keep pushing the small business because we need small businesses. We need to support small businesses, small individually, locally owned businesses. Angelia is a perfect example. You are a guide, right? Is that what you do?
Yes,
Andrea?
sir. I am.
Professional
I guide, and I'm a captain for hire, and I do sell my lures and go to the shows with Pete, and I'm surviving so far, so I must be doing pretty good.
I'm always in support of that kind of thing because that's really what the backbone of this country was built on small businesses. And when we're dealing with small businesses, it's always been my experience anyway, that we're dealing when the customer is more of a family more than they are a number, more than they are a dollar sign. They're more of,
Absolutely.
there's more of a relationship there. And that's what I look for. I look for more of the relationship part where both sides benefit.
That's the exact word I would have used, Riscala. As you create a relationship with your passengers or your guests, as I call them, and you create lifelong bonds, and that's why they come back to you over and over when they have a good time. It's a wonderful atmosphere to be in.
Yeah, versus a big company. I mean, I kind of pick on them, but I use people like AT&T or Comcast. Call one of them if you have a problem and see how long it's going to take you to get your problem resolved, or just even to speak to somebody. And Angelia just said something very, very vital. You talk to Peter. You don't talk to somebody who's going to talk to somebody who's going to talk to somebody who's going to talk to Peter. You talk to Peter. You get directly to the person who is going to be able to resolve the issue for you. You're not going through and you're not waiting an hour or an hour and a half.
No.
You're not waiting for a
Nope.
call back.
No, he actually picks up the phone and will probably start working on your design that day if he has time.
That's why I like
He's
small
great.
businesses, because they treat the customers more like family than a dollar sign. And I see, unfortunately, and I know it sounds political, and I don't mean to be that way, but unfortunately, in today's age, everything seems to be about strictly one thing, and that is profit. The relationship part of the deal seems to have gone by the wayside. That doesn't seem to be so prevalent in smaller companies. It does in the big ones, but not in the smaller ones, and that's what I like. I like the relationship part.
Me too. That's what really, really keeps me in that industry is sharing these experiences with other people that normally wouldn't get to have them, and experiencing that joy through them is just beautiful. It's a wonderful experience. Somebody catching their first fish, a child squealing with joy at the catch of a fish. I mean, there's nothing that beats that.
And Pam,
Exactly. We're very proud of you. We're very
knowing
proud of
that
what
you
you've
made
done.
that possible for them is very fulfilling. I mean, it's just really nice, and that's, I don't know how else to describe it. I love it very, very much when I'm on the reel, but I love it just as much when I'm not on the reel. I'll give you a cute example if we've got time. I had a little girl, 12 years old, and took her out charter fishing with her father, and it was a birthday gift for her. And she's just a lovely, lovely little girl that I actually met at one of our trade shows with Peter. Anyway, wants to become a very good angler and is quite the little novice right now. But first thing in the morning with her, we hooked into a sailfish.
Now, this little girl, there's no way in the world she could hang on to the sailfish. It would have ripped the rod right out of her hands. So I got the mate to snap the belt on her as fast as possible, the fighting belt, and I sat her on the top of a cooler in the back of the boat because we don't have a fighting chair on open fisherman boats like that. I sat her on the cooler at the back of the boat, and I slung my leg around her and sat behind her and put my arms around her where we both were in control of the rod, but she was doing the reeling.
Cool
And we caught a sailfish together.
Oh,
And I don't know who had more fun, me or her, you know?
Wow.
And it was the most exciting thing and the most wonderful thing that she or I will never forget. And those are the moments that made me do what I'm doing now.
Wow.
Those are the moments that make it all worth it.
Well, you know, Pam won't say a whole lot about it, but I'll tell you that she does similar things. She's taken a young man out on a kayak, if I'm not mistaken, and took him out kayak fishing. We had him on the show for a couple of minutes that particular day. These are the kind of things that really are the passion of my heart, when people reach out to other people and work with other people and share with other people, invest your time with other people. The return on investment is far greater than the dollar sign, far, far greater. You know, how much money is it worth to you to have a memory that literally is going to be the rest of your life?
Exactly. It's priceless. Absolutely priceless. And I don't care if you're man, woman, child, old, young, disabled. I don't care who you are. If you have the desire to learn how to fish, I want to teach you.
God bless you.
And that's just all there is to it.
God
Or
bless
teach you everything I can, you know? So it's a beautiful thing.
I'm running down
That's
on
great.
time, but before I let you go here, people want to reach you. How do they do that?
They can reach me at FloridaSaltyCowgirl.com. They can always find me, Florida Salty Cowgirl, on Facebook, Florida Salty Cowgirl on Instagram, or you can reach me on my phone, just like Pete, 813-610-0078, and book a charter with us, and you won't go wrong, I'm telling you.
You're
Keys
down-
is just a really great place to go fish.
You're down in Islamorada, if I remember right. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, I am. Yes, sir.
How's the fishing, generally speaking?
It's about the same as it was last week when we talked.
It was hot last
Wahoo
week.
are still coming in nice.
Yeah.
Kingfish are still coming in nice. Still getting some sales. And for some reason, I'm telling you, the grouper know when its season stops because the blacks are just coming up beautiful. They know when season's over.
my
So, but yeah, the refishing's been just on fire.
Wow. Well, I thank you so very much, Miss Pam. Any parting words for Angela?
No, just that's another trip we're going to have to plan, Rochelle. I just think it would be awesome fishing with you and learning more about offshore fishing.
I miss Islamorada. It was one of my favorite places. God bless you, ladies. Thank you for taking the time to call in. We are completely out of time. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. We will be back in a week, and at that time, we'll be looking forward to speaking with you again. Have a great week, everyone.
Baby, let's go. Don't forget